everybody. Welcome to You Never Know with Arwen, where you get chats with psychics, healers, authors, and naughty book reviewers. That's who we're going to be talking with tonight. But before we start, I want to do this week's Terrascopes. Aquarius, you get the Hag of Earth. Watch over your own world. Be present in your own home. Take care of your own cares. Rule your immediate self first. Pisces, destruction. May have to tear down some preconceived notions about self. Deconstruct what is to rebuild what should be. Work hard. That last sentence didn't make any sense, Arwen. I'm so glad I actually read these things before I put them up. Aries, 5 of air. So many ideas. So many people wanting bits of you. Time to tie your hair back, choose what you want to do, then do that. Taurus, you get the 10 of water. Consider all those emotionally attached to you and you to them. How can you foster deeper connections? This is a good time for that. Gemini, you get the ace of air. By focusing on what you will have, you can have it. No time to be indecisive. Intentions set now must be followed through. Cancer, you get the witch of water. Past, present, future, all connected by heart. Reach back to resolve. Look forward to hope. Nurture your own first. Leo, strength. Yes, you can. Remind them that your mind is a fearsome thing when set. Choose to support those who support you. Will makes it happen. Virgo, the 7 of air. Sometimes you must take what you can. Solve problems with your mind rather than brute force. Puzzles abound. Solve them. Libra, 4 of earth. Money can be a riddle. Riches to be attained, but make lists first. Know the answers before they ask the questions. Scorpio, you get the magician. As you will, so it happens. Putting your tools to work creates a surprisingly prosperous week. Open to what you can do. Sagittarius, you get the Hierophant. Rules exist to be followed as long as they make sense. If you must bend them, do so cautiously. Many watch this week. Capricorn, 10 of air. The whip you use on yourself is harsh. Be gentle with you, please. Stop making yourself the enemy if you want to win. Now, everyone, I'd like to invite to the show, or welcome to the show. She's already here. I guess I can't invite her. Rachel Smith. Rachel and I have known each other via the internet for years. And I have to say that I was part of a writing team that popped one of her cherries. Oh, yes, we did. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Rachel has a wonderful review site called bittenbybooks.com. This site has supported authors in so many ways. She has contests, she does book reviews, interviews with authors. Sorry about the dog licking the bowl in the background. I know that's a lovely sound. Awesome. But Rachel, welcome to my show. Thank you so much for being one of my guests. How's it going?
Things are great. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's an honor to be on here and be with you and see your beautiful smiling face and hear your tarot scopes. They're awesome. I love reading them each week, so thank you so much.
Thank you. And what's your sign, baby?
I am on the cusp of Cancer and Leo, so I'd probably do a Leo thing and take both of them.
Rock on. Now, Rachel, why a book review site? I mean, what was your goal when you started? How long has Bitten by Books been here? And, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I ask myself that every day about 5 a.m. when I'm still awake. What was I thinking? Bitten by Books started in 2008, so we've been around. It'll be 6 years in May. We'll be celebrating our 6-year blog anniversary. It started as just a way for me to get out my feelings about different books that I was reading, and then I learned that you could get free books by reviewing. But what I didn't realize was that there was they weren't really free because you had lots and lots of commitments. And so I started out reviewing for another site initially, and it's a great site, but they had deadlines, and I'm not a very good deadline girl. So I quickly got out of that, and I thought, why don't I just do this on my own? I can do it all by myself, and it was supposed to be a hobby. Well, my husband says I'm not allowed to have any more hobbies because every hobby that I have had turns into a business, so or something of great magnitude. And that happened really, really quickly when people found out that I was reviewing just paranormal fiction, because that's all I was really into at the time. So that's how it started.
Well, 2008, that's a funny year for me, because that's the year our very first book came out as Mary Lou Man.
That's right.
And what is it about that changing times that happened to you, young lady?
Well, it changed my perspective on anything. You just never know with Arwen. It was really kind of my first toe dip into erotic kind of paranormal romance. I'd read some Carrie Arthur books, which are, fabulous. That's what kind of got me started. And then I got a really good taste of a genre that I didn't know existed. I mean, to be very honest, I was like, whoa. And it was so good. I mean, fantastic book, fantastic series. I love it. I still love it to this day. And it really will. You did pop my paranormal cherry. Thank you so much.
And I think you said we were one of the first ebooks you reviewed.
Right, you were. That was the very first ebook that I had ever reviewed. I'd been, obviously reading print at that time. Ebooks, I mean, I think they were around, but they were not as prevalent as they are today. I mean, you can get them we can read them on your phone now. You can get them anywhere today. And back then, it wasn't. It just was, to me, as a print book reader, I had never really even come across it. So, yeah, it was the very first ebook. Yeah. You have a much better memory than I did. Either that or you looked it up on the site.
Bingo. Just went back and read it. Well, then I want to tell you, in case you don't know, you may know this already, but book 4 is in edits.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so, yay. And we'll talk about that later, because Rachel's site, one of the other things she offers her authors is advertisement. You can pay cheap, y'all. If you're an author and you're not advertising on Bitten by Books, gotta ask you what you're thinking. She gets heavy traffic, and your little book gets seen and seen and seen and seen. So, and I know we've had sales from our reviews there, because we've had people tell us that's where they found our book. So we will always want to be reviewed by Bitten by Books. But because Kay and I, Mary Lou Man, we write some contemporaries, we were a little sad because Bitten by Books was kind of genreist.
Genreist?
Just saying.
I hadn't heard that term before. Wow, I learned something new. First ebook, first new word. Yeah, it's true. We were.
But I hear tell that you're branching out.
It's true. The rumors are true. We have started reviewing and accepting reviews for multiple genres, romance, what else? Mystery, thriller, action, sci-fi, horror, kids books, middle grade kids books, even some picture books. I've got a picture book lined up, fantastic picture book lined up in May. Young adult, not just paranormal, but in all, because paranormal encompasses all of that. But, we're trying to branch out. We are branching out. We have. And it's going good. I mean, we're kind of slowly ramping up and kind of building a solid foundation, instead of trying to take on 8 million of every different kind of book or review. We're definitely ramping up. So, but it's really, really an exciting time for the blog, and it's fun to be doing other things. I know the reviewers are thrilled to be reviewing other stuff besides paranormal. I mean, they love paranormal, but I think that they, after 6 years, some of them are like, can I get a romance?
And my favorite books to read are historicals.
Right.
So I'm typing your URL in the chat room right now, and I keep forgetting.
I got it.
Oh, thank you.
But how you started this out by yourself, right? I mean, there was just you.
Right.
How many reviewers do you have now? I mean, I know you've got, because I read them and I see different names going on there. So how many people do you have now?
We have about 30, and I have a couple in the wings that kind of do stuff for us as guest bloggers occasionally. So we have had upwards of 50 at one time. But right now we're at about 30 reviewers, and they don't all review full time. You know, everyone does this as a volunteer, which is fabulous. They're wonderful, and they take on as many books as they can at that time. So yeah, so we've got about 30.
What do you think makes a good book reviewer? Besides the ability to read fast.
Well, I think personally, a good grasp of the English language, written English language, somebody who pays attention to detail, somebody who's passionate not just about books and reading, but about authors too. I think that is a kind of a special thing that we have, that our reviewers really care about authors and supporting authors and their work, and being able to provide feedback in a way that's helpful, not demeaning, or what's the word I'm looking for? Without being rude, people who have a heart, people who really have a heart for what they're doing and really enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, because bitchy mean girl reviews are not fun to read. I mean, sometimes they are. Well, I'll be honest. Sometimes, I laugh because if it's a book I didn't like either, I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
But it's still mean girl mentality, and I've never really seen mean reviews on your site. I've seen some that were pretty to the point.
Very to the point. Yeah.
And you have a rating system of 1 to 100, 1 to 3,
1 to 5, 1 to 5 with half stars in between. So it's 1 to 5 stars with half-star reviews, and we've had that system since the beginning, and it seems to work out pretty well. So.
And it used not to be stars.
That's right. It used to be tombstones.
Which was hysterically funny, because I read one that was 4.5 tombstones, and I'm like, damn, half a tombstone?
Yeah.
That's going to suck.
It's like, wow, can you get half a tombstone? I'm like, in a really old cemetery, you can, sister. In a really old cemetery. So, yeah. Yeah, I miss the tombstones. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, the tombstones are going away. But you know what? They're still there in spirit. No pun intended.
Girl, I was drinking. Dang.
What's in that cup?
Nothing.
Yeah, oh my.
Little tea. So, who's been with you the longest? What reviewer has been with you the longest?
Wow. Let's see. Well, Virginia, who's also our review manager. She manages all the books and getting those distributed to all the reviewers. She's been with me since the very, very beginning. I think she was probably one of the first reviewers.
Very cool.
Carol Malcolm, who is one of the directors of the Urban Fantasy panel at Dragon Con. She's fabulous.
Wow.
She's been with us forever. She's the senior editor. We've got this really funny reviewer. I don't know if you've read her reviews. Her name's Kate. Cranky Kate, the Southern Belle. She's been with us for a very long time, and her reviews tend to be quite hilarious and to the point. So we've got several. We've got probably 15 that have been with us from the very beginning.
Awesome. Now let's talk some dirt.
I showered today. No dirt.
Roll around. What do you think is now? I don't want to get into naming names or calling people out, because you can go on the internet and see plenty of examples of authors behaving badly. And we know they do it. We know, and because I, as an author, I will read a review and my first instinct is, oh yeah, bitch. And I know that that's probably not the most professional response. So, have you ever had an author post something that you've had to pull back down, other than Mary Lou Mann?
No, we refuse to do that.
Oh.
And let me tell you why. I think it's really important that we maintain a level of integrity with the site and the reviews that we provide. I tend to not believe everybody who gives 5-star reviews to everything, because let's just face it, not every book out there is great. And if we continually posted happy, fluffy, yay, this is lovely all the time, I would begin to wonder what kind of a fantasy land we were living in. I mean, the reality is that there are all different levels of ability in writing, and everyone starts out somewhere. So one of the things that I have in place is the terms of review, which authors, by submitting their work, agree to. And one of those things is that if our reviewer takes the time out of their busy lives to read your book and review it and write a review, and it's edited and it goes through the whole process, that it stays on the site. They're entitled to their opinion. You're soliciting our opinion, and they're entitled to that opinion. Whether you like the opinion or not, I can't control that. But we definitely don't pull reviews.
And I do know from personal experience again that a bad review is almost like money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Because, somebody reads a 1-star review and they're like, well, it can't be that bad. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And so, people do that. We had somebody on Amazon not just trash one of our books, but they line by line spoiled. And it was our second book in the Lusting Wild series. It was the one with Joey and Slade, which was just like, and we were both going, ow. And Kate had to counsel me on why my initial response might not be the best one. But, and in the long run, and the reviewer, the Amazon reviewer, had some good points.
Mm-hmm.
There were Kay had one of her friends who'd read the first book, came up, she had the second book in her hand, she came up and smacked Kay in the head with it. And she said, I can't believe you made me like Malcolm.
Yeah, exactly. Like the bad guys. I had the same moment too. I'm like, wait a minute, he's bad. He can't be good. He can't be human. No pun intended there either.
Right. What y'all don't know is that book 1 in our Lusting Wild series, we had this really jerk. I mean, he was an asshole. He terrorized the heroine. He just did. He acted out poorly. He was, Shifter's Gone Wild. Oh no, that's bad. But sorry.
I'm drinking.
Paybacks, girl. And then we fell in love with him in book 1, and we decided he was going to die. He was supposed to die at the end. That was their big, emotionally satisfying moment, was when Tony got to kill him. Now I'm giving away the end of the book. Okay, so now Malcolm doesn't die. But
you should still read the book.
But he's the hero in book 2. And it was difficult. It was very difficult. We had to really sell it as to why the villain of book 1 became the hero of book 2. And we did catch some flack for that. We did. We had some people who said it wasn't believable, and okay, we did not win with you. That's okay. Now for you, who is an author? Let's do I read them when. So who's an author that you read way back in, 2008, right? 6 years ago.
So much has happened in 6 years.
I had to read uphill both ways. Who's an author you read then that's big now that you really thought was going to be big? I mean, you can tell us.
Yeah, that's a really hard question.
Because you've read a lot.
Yeah, I have. Gosh. Come on, really? My mind is like drawing a complete blank.
mean, what about Janine Frost? Was she one of the ones that was out then, or is she older than that? I can't remember.
I don't think she's older than that. And yeah, I was really pleasantly and so happy that she really did really shoot up through the ranks and has really made a name for herself, which has been fabulous. That's a very good example. She's probably the only one that I can think of right off the top of my head. Thanks for the pop quiz.
Well, I read I read a book, and it was about a woman and a horse farm and the guy, and it was called Leaping Hearts. And the woman's name was Penny Bird, I think. And then Kay told me I had to read this author. And I read this author. I was like, man, this author's great. And I looked her up, and I found out it was a pseudonym for Penny Bird. She doesn't write. I think Penny Bird's the right name, but she doesn't write as Penny Bird anymore because, unfortunately, the Brotherhood of the Black Dagger got a little big. That'd be not J.K. Rowling, J.R. Ward.
J.R. Ward, yeah.
Yeah, but I read just a little contemporary romance that was charming.
Mm-hmm.
And it had elements that she has in all of her Brotherhood of the Black Dagger, emotionally connecting. Really, when she writes a book, y'all, your heart's going at some point because you're going to cry. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of writer I like. Do you like a writer that wrings you out emotionally? Do you want one that lifts you up? What's your favorite kind of story connection?
I really like, I really, really dig urban fantasy, and, that's my favorite. And I really like that they're gritty, and they're down to earth, and, down to earth. And they're set in an urban setting, so it's more believable to me. It's more palatable to me. Mm-hmm. I love, I grew up on fantasy and The Hobbit and stuff like that. So, but, I really... I don't know if I like to be emotionally wrung out. I really don't. I go through periods of time where I have to step away from that and read some lighter stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of my light favorites is Jerry Bartlett, their Real Vampire series set in Austin.
She's
I love
awesome.
that. She is fabulous. I like reading her stuff. So, I kind of run the gamut, if it's a well-crafted story, I'll probably read it.
Yeah. I have read books that I didn't think I would like. And I once was, one of my first, I used to review for FMAM, Futures, Mysteries, and something, but it was a true crime was a lot of what they did. And they sent me a box of books. This was not my first box of books from them, and I pick up the first true crime. True crime and I have a love-hate relationship, but I sometimes really fall into it, just have to read them, and sometimes I don't. And this kind of cured me of reading them. I had just decided to move to Austin. There were 3 true crime novels in that book. 2 were based in Austin.
Oh.
And I thought, this is either the universe messing with me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, really? Put the book down. Pick the next one up. Really? So, but yeah, both books were based in Austin. Let's see. Pop quiz time again. Who is the first, going way back, about 10 years, when you were about 6 years old, because we know you're no more than 16 now. Who's the first book or the first author you can remember reading as a child that really made a difference to you, that made you go, oh?
Well, I can't remember the author's name, but the name of the book, I'm sure you probably recognize it, is Wifey. Do you remember that book?
No, I don't. Is that terrible? How old were you? That doesn't sound like a child.
I was not old enough to be reading that book. I have no idea even where I found that book.
Oh, it's Judy Blume.
Was it? It wasn't a Judy Blume book.
It's a Judy Blume.
Yeah. That was probably... But you know what really... that made a difference between girl and a woman moment. I don't know if that's what you were asking about, but really, the books that really opened my eyes and showed me that there was a whole nother world out there, and it's going to sound cliche maybe, but it was The Hobbit and C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes.
When I read those books, I was absolutely transformed and taken into a totally different world. I mean, it was like, literally. I mean, and that's why I say, I loved fantasy. A lot of people, I mean, I've read some of the Anne McCaffrey books, but I mean, I always go back to Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and I would say The Chronicles of Narnia more than The Hobbit, really.
Which is your favorite book? When I meet another Narnia fan, because I'm a huge Narnia fan, I always ask them what their favorite book is, because mine is one of the weird ones.
I like I really love The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, of course, because that was the first one that I read. But I also really like Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
That's my second favorite. My first is A Horse and His Boy.
Oh, that's a really good one.
But it's so not Narnia.
Right.
You know, it's kind of, he kind of wedged it in. Like, it's kind of pre-Narnia if you want to read the books in the chronological order of Narnia. You need to start with probably A Horse, Silver Chair, maybe, and then A Horse.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I can't remember how it goes. And for those of you that aren't Narnia fans, the Silver Chair actually has already been made into a movie. It was called, that's what we all know is the Prince Caspian movie.
Right. Oh, fantastic movies. Do you know if they're still making those, or did they stop? Or
I haven't heard, and I was really sad, but the ones they've made, it's kind of hard for me to imagine how they can branch out. It's kind of like the Frank Baum books, The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
You know, if I read, I think, almost every Wizard of Oz book there. I read TikTok. I read Glinda of Oz. I read all of them.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to talk to people when the only Oz perspective they have is the Judy Garland movie, which is wonderful.
Right.
But so different. I mean, the books, it's a very, very different world. Somebody said, Dee says Chronicles of Narnia. Griff says that it was Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles.
Oh.
And Eric, our producer, said he's an Isaac Asimov fan.
Science geeks unite.
Now, I read a book, and I still cannot find who wrote the book. And I clearly remember it was about a little boy. It was a sci-fi, and I was a kid when I read it, like 9 or 10. I read my way through the children's books, and by the time I was 9, the children's librarians were shoving me out the door, and somehow I got The Hobbit at 9.
Right.
Which probably is why I'm such a weird adult, because I bought that hook, line, and sinker, man. and The Lord of the Rings, I had no problem with talking trees. None.
Right.
So, but the story that I read, maybe somebody will remember, it's a sci-fi book. I don't think it's a famous author. He lives in a world that's very regimented, everything's, and it's a cubicle. It's very tight. And he, once a year, if they're good, they get the chance to go on a train, and they can go to the end of the line where there's grass, and they get to see grass. And it's an underground city, and I don't think they know it at first. Huh. And he finds another city, and he finds a way to get there. And if I could just remember who wrote that book, I would. And I've Googled it. I've tried every kind of search phrase. And
I have a book like that I remember, and I've been thinking about it a lot, actually. Now that you bring it up, I've been thinking about it a lot this last month. And it was just a little mystery book about a boy and a girl on a summer vacation, and they were staying in a pre-Civil War or Civil War type home, and there was a dry creek. That's all I can remember. But I read that book I kid you not, that I probably wore it out. I read that book probably 20 times when I was in elementary school. I wish I could remember the name of it. It was just that's what really turned me on to like mysteries and books like that.
And was it a kid's book?
It was a kid's book.
Was it an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge?
Mm-mm.
I'm looking up.
Are you Googling it for me?
I am, because, man, I got to know.
That's all I can remember is there was a hidden creek or a hidden dry creek, and I think the little boy went there every summer to this house, and there was some kind of mystery involved. They thought there was a mystery involved where they thought that there might be a ghost, but that it wasn't. It turned out to be something like that. There was it was during the Civil War, so it was had something to do with the Underground Railroad. I think a little bit, but it was a very short book. But that was a long time ago. That was sometime in the 70s, Arwen.
Yeah, see, now I'm going to look and look and look, but I'll find it. Somebody just said that they got to meet Ray Bradbury in 74.
Wow.
Right?
Right?
Who's the author that you've met that was your biggest fangirl moment? Because you've talked to and communicated with a lot of authors, but who's the one that you met that made you kind of go, huh?
I don't know if anybody's really done that for me. If I really had, I really liked meeting Jim Butcher, but I didn't really have a big fangirl moment. Somebody interesting that I met years ago was Frank Baum's son, who wrote The Wizard of Oz, his son.
Oh, wow.
And I have a book somewhere, I have no idea where it's called The Re-Wolf of Oz. And it's a children's storybook. But I met him in California back in the late 80s.
When you were just a baby.
Yes, when I was a wee child. But I thought that was cool. I was like, Frank L. Baum's son. I'm like, what are you doing at the Costa Mesa Mall? He was signing books just like any other author. So I think that was the one person, I don't certainly know if he's famous or not now or if he was then, but to me, that was like,
yeah, that's a brush with, that's almost like brush with God.
Brush with greatness there.
Mine was at the Romantic Times convention, which is a romantic times. You got a lot of romance authors. But Romantic Times also does a lot of different books, and they were honoring a bunch of different authors. And I read the names, and I was really excited about one of them, but I knew there was no freaking way he'd be at the Romantic Times, right? It was in Florida where we were. Well, that happens to be the state he lives in. And he's a fantasy writer. And if you like puns, you will love his books. His books are, in fact, based on his most famous, for me, series is based on his name. It's the Xanth series by Piers Anthony.
Oh, wow. That would be cool.
And I found out what workshop he was going to be at, and I told Kay, because she was there with me, I said, when I start babbling, you must take me by the sleeve and remove me. And she said, okay. And I went up and was like, yeah, Piers Anthony, blah, 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 and made her take a picture with me. And he was so kind.
That's cool.
And just one of the neatest guys. And then I'm talking at Romantic Times. I don't know if you've been or not, but they used to have this Mr. Romance contest, and all the cover model guys run around and they talk to people, and they try to be nice because they're trying to get votes. And I was talking to one of the guys, and he was one of the younger ones. He was about 21, 22. Can't think of his name, but he was just sweet as pie. And we were talking. He said, I know I'm supposed to be here talking to all the romance authors and getting votes, but I really want to meet Piers Anthony because that's the books I read with my father. And I really would like to meet him just to have that connection. And I happened to look up, and I said, don't look now, but he just came in. And this kid went from sexy romance model to 12-year-old in 10 seconds, and he's like, I said, go. And he was gone like a shot, and I got to see him talking to him, and the joy on his face. And he came back later, and he said, he signed something.
Hopefully it wasn't the stuff that they normally get signed at RT. Yeah.
But it was just really cool. And for me, he's probably one of the biggest authors I've ever met. I've met Nora Roberts at several conventions just here and there. And she's lovely. She's very, very gracious and very welcoming to new authors.
That's cool.
Who's an author you met that you didn't know? Or did you...
All of them?
I mean, like, have you ever been sitting with somebody and chatting with them and found out 15 minutes into the conversation, oh crap, I read your books?
No, I don't think that's ever happened to me. One author that I do know, that I saw, not a lot, but was Molly Harper, because we both lived in Kentucky at the time. So, and I got to have coffee with her, and I don't know if we ever ate together, but we have a horrible road trip experience that we had together one time. So Molly Harper is the one author, that I've met. I've met J.R. Ward once. And
I understand she's very shy.
Oh, supremely. Like, she's about as shy as I am.
Wow.
So, yeah, I met J.R. Ward, Shiloh Walker, Anya Bast. Who else? I met Jim Butcher, of course.
Yeah, I met Jim and his wife, because his wife writes romance.
Right. Oh, she's super nice. I've never met her in person, but yeah, Shannon.
Yeah.
Shannon. She's very, very nice. She's fabulous to work with. I've met Julie Kagawa.
The Iron Prince, Julia?
Right. I met her in Louisville, which is not the capital of Kentucky.
It's not?
No. It's not. Frankfurt is the capital.
Well, I'm glad they didn't ask me that on my Jeopardy quiz.
I know. Don't ask me. You do not want to know why I know that, but anyway, because I'm not from Kentucky or Tennessee. I'm from Seattle. I met Mark Henry, Rochelle Mead. Now it's coming to my head. Mark Henry, Rochelle Mead.
Mark Henry is freaking funny.
He is super funny.
I don't even like to read things he writes if I'm eating or drinking because I'm afraid I'll choke. We have a question in the chat room because apparently they think that we should actually talk about stuff other than just who you know. I don't know. Hi, baby.
It's Chai. Yeah, Chai. She's like, I smell cheese, Mom.
All right, feed me. Does Rachel think self-publishing is a good thing, and can she tell the difference between a self-edited and a publisher-edited book?
I don't know. I would hope so. No. I'm sorry. That's a great question. I think self-pub is fabulous. As a matter of fact, I have read some really great self-pubbed authors in the last couple of years. You definitely want to invest in a good editor if you're going to self-pub. I think that's a key. I mean, even I've seen some artwork on some books that are just horrible, but the insides are fabulous. So, one thing I want to say to people is don't let a cover scare you off, especially with a self-pub book. I know there's a lot of review sites out there that won't take self-published work. We're not one of them. We have taken books from everyone. We think as long as you have a finished book, that's finished and ready or going to be published within the next few weeks or days or a month or whatever. We take just about when we're open for submissions, which we're not currently open for submissions. We take everything and read just about anything, because everyone has to start somewhere. And the other thing is that we all know that the big publishing industry has changed drastically in the last 2 weeks, the last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. A lot of authors that were published by the big five are now self-pubbing with no problems,
Yeah, so, J.A. Conrath being one of the big names out there. He really redefined self-publishing, I think.
Right. Mark Henry's coming out with his first indie pub book here in just a couple of weeks.
Oh, so. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, He sure is. So I mean, a lot of them, and some of them are doing both. Where you're seeing, I think a lot of the mid-list authors, you're seeing them still doing some stuff with the big publishers, but they're starting to pull back and doing their own, because they can see that self-pub has changed a lot in the last 6 years. A lot. Yeah.
Well, I know there's a new book coming out tomorrow by Robin D. Owens. And yeah, it's a brand new series called, oh gosh, I should know the name, and I'm going to look it up because it's going to be on my blog tomorrow. You know, I do tarot readings for characters. And I did a character reading for her character, Claire, who's the heroine of her book. And her book is called... She pulls the thing up and says, "What is her name?" Oh my God! I can't. Well, we just did it, and I can't remember all of the names. But it releases tomorrow. It's mainstream. It's a mainstream publisher, but she also has released a novella on Amazon.
Right.
That frickin' rocked. It's about a woman who finds a kid who happens to be a shapeshifter alien.
Oh wow!
It's really, really awesome. It's I loved it. I need to go back and see if she's got more out, because I was like, yay, I love this. Oh, Ghost Seer, Seer, and yeah, I'm gonna
put that in the thing. Even though I can't see the thing, put that in the thing so everyone can check it out.
I know, right? I'm trying to see if the link she gave me is live, because I don't want to... Yes, it is live. Okay. But this is going to be, I think... And she wrote the Heartmate series. I think that y'all did some of her stuff on...
Yeah, I'm familiar with who you're talking about.
And this was... Heartmate's very fantasy. It's truly wonderful, wonderful stuff. And this one is set in Denver, which is where Robin lives in Denver. So I cannot wait to see the book. It will be one of the things I splurge on tomorrow or tonight when it comes out. But I have no idea what I was going to say.
Me either. But I was going to mention, we were talking about the self-pub thing. A fantastic book that came out this fall is called Wildcard by Jamie Wyman. And it was published by Entangled Covet. And it is an urban fantasy set in Las Vegas, and kind of like a little bit of tech geek kind of theme to it. But Wildcard by Jamie Wyman, fabulous book. They decided not to pick it back up. And I know for a fact right now that Jamie is doing a Kickstarter to fund pubbing her book. And I think that's a fantastic idea. And anybody who has not read that book, you should definitely pick it up. It's I don't think it's very expensive on Amazon. But I was so sad when I got the email, and then I watched the Kickstarter, and she's so excited. She's so excited.
Unveiled.
Oh, is that the name of the book?
That's the one she's doing on the Kickstarter.
Right. Book 2. And she's already got book 3 done too.
And she's almost halfway there on book 2 on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's been on the site. Fantastic. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can see it or not, a poker chip. She had poker chips. This is her swag. It's awesome. The apple is for the goddess Eris. Of Discord, the apple of Discord. So, I mean, fabulous artist, super nice, and it was really great to see her Kickstarter campaign. They're always supposed to be inspirational, motivational. But to me, I thought, that's such a fabulous way to look at it. It's like, you know what, I'm taking control of this situation, and I'm going to self-pub it. I'm going to give it to you in a way that you could never get it before. You're going to see it in bookstores. You're going to see it everywhere. I think that's fabulous. I think that's the beauty of self-pubbing, really.
Yeah. Because you can do more,
right?
And you can. What I've noticed in self-pub is that people are a little more free with plots and more, a little different. I love audiobooks. That's what I've been listening to mostly, because I just don't have any time left to read. Reading is such a luxury for me these days. But I listen to audiobooks, and I got one called The Dragon's Curse. I think that's the name of it, by Colleen, Houck. And Hoke, or
Hawk.
I think, yeah, but I couldn't. And the writing, some of it was very purple, very overblown, flowery. Oh my God, what were you thinking? Writing to me.
Right.
I couldn't stop listening. And when it came to the end of it, I got up, went to my phone, went to audiobooks, and went, next one, and bought the next one. There's four in the series.
Oh, wow.
I, as a writer, I can count. There are 4.
How many fingers am I holding up?
But there are 4 books in the series. Apparently, the first one's already been optioned.
Oh, wow.
It's self-pubbed.
Mm-hmm.
She sold over 1 million copies self-pubbed before it got picked up. I think that's right. That may be urban fantasy.
That might be an urban legend in the making.
But it's a, they say that every story's been told.
Right.
It's a story about an Indian prince who's been cursed and turned into a tiger, and about the young girl who works to free him from the curse. Basic plot.
Right.
Kind of a Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty kind of, stuff. However, I tell everybody I meet, they've got to listen to it. I don't know, or read it or something, but it is an amazing tale. But when it was over, and she wraps it up, she is not an author that at the end of it, you think, oh, it's like J.K. Rowling, oh, there's no more Harry Potter. We're done, with that series. But that's how she ended her 4-book series, which you were just, that's it.
Yeah, no cliffhangers.
No cliffhangers, wrapped it up nice and neat. Everybody's happily ever after. And it rocked my little listening world.
Very cool. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to get the link from you.
I will send that to you. The other audiobook I listened to was a Japanese flavored book. It was called Tales of the Otori. And if you like samurai, it's really well done. And again, a cycle. She started with where the samurai meets the young boy, and then books 1, 2, 3 are about the young boy. And then the 4th book is actually the samurai story up to the point that he meets book 1.
Oh, okay.
So, it's a really nice cycle. It's by Liam Hearn. She's an Australian writer. And the first one is Across the Nightingale Floor.
Mm.
Yeah, and I got it because I like Oriental style books. Anything that's got that flavor.
Right.
Because Pearl S. Buck was one of my foundation authors. Mm-hmm. So I think that may be why. Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about what's coming up for you in Bitten by Books. Where are you going with that? What can we look to see? What's going on right now? Are there any contests people could go sign up for?
Oh, never. There are never contests on our site. Never. Yes, there's some fabulous contests right now. If you go to bittenbybooks.com, at the top there's a link at the top that says contests and events. There's a contest that we're sponsoring, and I had a blast putting together. It's called the Vampires Suck contest, and there's a what is in there? A Monster High doll, a Bite Me hat. There's a Vampires Only parking sign. There's 3 books. There's a Mary Janice Stevenson book, a couple of arcs. There's a piece of one-of-a-kind jewelry that I make. This isn't it, but there's a vampire necklace in there. There's all kinds of stuff. So that's one contest that's going on right now. It's super easy, real easy entries. And then we have 6 events this week. We're averaging about 6 a week right now, as opposed to, I think, 12 that we had before, or 10. We do events Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, so you can always come by. And you don't have to come by at any specific time. Everything starts or is posted after noon Central, but you can come by at any time of day or night and leave a question for the author, which is the fabulous thing about our events on our blog. It's a place where
talk back.
Right. You can get your questions answered. Like when you go to a book signing, which book signings are great, but the authors are usually really busy signing books. With an event like we host, the author has time to answer questions, and the readers have time, and the readers can ask questions that they may not feel comfortable asking, you know, in person, or may not think of. So you have time to sit and think about whatever it is you want to talk about. And have been some fabulous, in the 6 years we've been here, I have seen some of the most incredible conversations about books and world building and characters and what people love and what they don't like, and just, it's really, really great. I mean, I'm not just saying it because it's my site. I mean,
no, it is
really
great.
The community of readers and the authors coming together is like, it's like magic.
And you interview authors on your
Yes.
fabulous site, because Mary Lou Mann,
Oh, yeah.
I just remembered this. I think we were the first.
You were one of the first, if not the first interview that we had, weren't you?
Yeah, I think we were.
Go back to page 954 in the history.
Right? Oh, Google it. That's what I really love, because Rachel asks interesting questions. She doesn't ask, "Why did you start writing?"
How long have you known you've been a writer? Since birth. Really?
Right? Awesome. How was that pen ink in the milk? But so if you are listening to this interview, you've just stumbled across it on the internet and are going, the hell? Go to bittenbybooks.com, where you can find an amazing index of stories. They've got it set up. You can go in and search by name. You can search by genre. And you can just say, you know what? I want to know all the zombie slut stories that are 3 stars or more. That's what I want. Mark Henry's going to come up.
Mark Henry's going to come up. Yeah.
I think he was the first that had a zombie heroine. I think he's the very first. Angela? No.
Amanda Farrell.
Amanda, that's her name.
Amanda Farrell, yes.
Yeah. The fashion zombie. And those were insane books. Insane. I read the first one and I thought, what were you smoking?
Happy Hour of the Damned, yeah. And they just got progressively more fabulously, disturbingly awesome as they went along.
When you got to the RV...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
that's all I'm going to say, is if you have not read these books and you'd like to be disturbed in a really good way and a funny way, Mark Henry's the guy.
Yeah, I'm putting down Mark, Henry, Amanda,
Farrell.
F-E or F-A?
Farrell, just like as in feral cat, I think.
No.
Amanda Farrell. Yeah. Amanda Farrell. Happy Hour of the Damned is book 1 in the series. And Beach Blanket Bloodbath, I think, is coming out.
Oh my God.
It's coming out here at the beginning of April, so we're really excited to read that and see what Amanda and friends have been up to. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, Amanda is sarcastic, witty, funny, and unrelentingly bitchy if she doesn't like somebody. Oh my God.
Which is almost always.
Right. Talk about a mean girl zombie, just what you didn't want to meet.
Yeah.
Hey, Etsy. How do they find you on Etsy?
You go to acharmingtime.com and it'll take you right to my Etsy store. And there's lots of fabulous items, like I was showing you earlier. I have all kinds of things for cat lovers. There's a little kitty necklace that I make. Everything that I make is pretty much one of a kind. I do have some stuff that's not. You can find zombie necklaces. You know, I kind of like to make stuff that kind of is a little humorous, you know. So I've got a zombie necklace that says I kiss frogs, and the zombie face is green, and it has the thing that says I kiss frogs on it. Or, you know, who's the fairest of them all, and it's got a zombie face. So I really love making that kind of jewelry. It's a lot of fun, and it's something I enjoy doing in my spare time.
One of my favorite pieces that Rachel does is you look at it and it looks like a choker cameo. And it's just, it's pink, it's pretty. And you look at this little skull hanging off of it, and you're like, what the hell? And you go closer, and it's, the traditional Victorian lady skeleton.
Right, right. It's kind of like this, a little bit.
Yes, yeah. It's not quite as ornate, but yeah. And it's just hysterical stuff. And it's things that you can wear out and about, and people are going to go,
what are you wearing?
Definitely do a double take. I have a piece that you made some years ago, and I went back to get the darn necklace, and somebody had already bought it. But it's not goth or anything like that, guys. It's just a real pretty green bracelet with dragonflies in it.
Yeah.
With an oriental flair, yeah.
Yeah, I love making beaded stuff. So, watch for more of that this year, because I have tons and tons of great ideas for that.
And y'all really, if you have people you want to buy for, or that really like jewelry that stands out, jewelry that makes somebody go, that's kind of cool. I want to know where that came from. It's not, a things remembered or whatever that. What is the place where everybody goes and gets pierced?
Piercing pagoda? I have no idea.
Oh, it's like
I can't. Well, I can tell you the last time I got a piercing, but we're almost out of time. And it wasn't at Piercing Pagoda. Anyway.
Did you have to lie down for it?
I did.
Oh,
but not in the way you're thinking.
Naughty. Yes, you are.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read Cericia Glass's books? Cericia wrote...
Oh, the Shadow series?
She was one of my first authors. She was the first author. And bless her little Georgia heart, she proceeded to tell us about one of her characters who would die if she didn't have sex. And I said, you're telling me she had a magical hoo-hoo? And she said, magical vajayjay. And that's become a little theme, apparently.
That's a fantastic series. If you like anything to do with Egypt and Egyptian themes, fabulous series. Love it.
Yeah, she knows her stuff. She really does. And is a nice lady. I've met her at a conference, and she's just, you just wouldn't know that this woman who's writing these kick-ass urbans is just this nice little standard poodle owner, lives in Georgia.
She is really, really nice. That's a really fun thing about this site is I have met so many just fabulous authors, really nice people, and that's the thing is that, I'm not advocating stalking authors, but they are humans. They are people just like you and I, and, and that's why when you say, well, you met anybody starstruck? So I've met Angie Fox. Hilarious. She's so nice. Just really great. I've worked with some fabulous people, just been really nice. Even like people like Charlene Harris and Jim Butcher, who are huge names out there.
Yeah.
Super nice to work with. Just really, they just make it worth coming to work every day.
Yeah, and that's really nice. And it's cool that you've turned your love into a business, that you've been able to you really can say, I love what I do and I do what I love.
Yeah. So
that's pretty awesome. Yeah. And I just realized, somebody just said they love the Ganesh rings in your Etsy store.
Oh, thank you. I love Ganesh. I have Ganesh everywhere in my house. Ganesh and Kwanya, and so Ganesh and he's one of our popular sellers. Love him. And I actually have some bracelets I don't have put up yet. Plus, I feel like a saleswoman. But that's really cute. Ganesh.
Oh, that's cute. How much is that going to run? Listen to me. I'm shopping.
They're going to be probably $15.95, and they're adjustable, and they come in 4 fashion colors. I got a ton of jewelry I haven't even had a chance to put up on the site, but yeah. And I do custom stuff, so if you're looking for something specific, I'm happy to make and do custom orders for people. I love doing that. So
now let me ask you one question, since we're almost out of time. Can't believe that we have actually had talked a full hour. I'm always surprised at the end. I'm like, how did we do that? Because I was so sure we couldn't fill an hour, but we did it. How does somebody become a reviewer for you? Are you looking for reviewers?
We are looking for reviewers. I send this really long, scary email that I'm sure scares people away. And I know you've been on the receiving end of a few of I call them eye bleed emails. But yes, you can email me at Rachel, Rachel, at bittenbybooks.com. And we are looking for reviewers all the time. We're looking for people who love to read and write reviews. So, and you don't have to have a ton of experience. We have some people who, when they started, had none. Me. I don't even know if I'm experienced now, but we look at everybody's, applications and don't let the email scare you away. It is really long, but it covers everything you need to know about reviewing with us. So.
Yeah, and it's clear. It's very well laid out. I referred a friend of mine that one of my friends at work, his wife wanted to review, and so I said, go talk to Rachel. And the application is daunting.
Like, don't you even think about doing this? No. Well, there's certain legal things that we have to cover too. Not a lot, but there are some legal things that that we take into consideration. So
yeah, absolutely. Rachel, thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you.
It's just been fun.
Yeah, this has been awesome. I kind of want to keep just going and going. Like
I know. And talking about books.
I know. Well, I don't get to chat live with anybody really too much, like face to face, about books. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I really
and maybe Bitten by Books can start doing video chats.
Maybe. You never know.
Was that somebody who plays music, runs screaming into the night? Was that who I just heard cuss my name and leave?
Oh, my husband, you mean? Yeah. No.
Cliff, right?
Yeah, Cliff, yeah.
I was trying to go for his name. I'm like, I know his name.
He's got one.
He's a musician. And
he's a fantastic musician. Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell him I said video chat's the way to go.
Video chat is the way to go, Arwen says. I got one of these. I got the nerd smile. The tech nerd smile.
Yeah, as the site comes crashing down because 150 people try to join.
Well, I know we're out of time, but we actually have a segment this week, a new one that's bi-monthly, and it's called, what's it called? Somebody, Reading Bites? I don't know what it's called. But Jay from Great Scott Audio has done a reading from Jim Butcher's Deadbeat, and it's a short video. And you can hear him read, and he's got a fantastic reading voice, and he'll be doing those twice a month, and it's
Book Bites.
Book Bites is what it's called. I only had like 4 hours of sleep last night, girl, so I'm like, yes, it's Book Bites, and it just went up today, so definitely go and give it a listen and leave Jay a comment, because he's super excited about it, and so am I. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's a little, it's not a book like live book chat, but it's something where you can go and kind of get a feel for what a book's like. And
it's very cool, and I hope that people will go and check out Bitten by Books and look into. I'm looking right now at a friend of mine, Power of the Zephyr. She actually, Christine and Ethan Rose live here, or sort of live here, and also when they're not out gallivanting
in the Gypsy Caravan. Yeah, that's right? Awesome. Super nice, folks.
Yeah, good stuff, y'all. But go check it out and leave comments. Get involved in their wonderful contest. You really can win anything from gift cards. I've seen authors giving away Kindles and Nooks. So,
oh my gosh, you said the magic word. Blog anniversary for our 6-year anniversary in May. We're giving away a minimum of 4 Kindles. We've got some fabulous authors who are sending books, like Nalini Singh, Charlene Harris, Lara Adrian. I mean, it's going to be a crazy fun time. So definitely sign up for our newsletter and check us out. And this week, tomorrow, fabulous interview with Joseph Mazenga, and he's another partner author. He writes with a partner on the book that he's talking about tomorrow.
I didn't know that. Yeah, we are rare, y'all. There are not a lot of...
Right, there's not a lot. Which I think is fascinating. So, and I asked him about that, but it's a great opportunity. He's a fabulous, fabulous author, and Annie Seaton will be here with us tomorrow, too. So she's
super.
Great.
So lots of fun on April Fool's Day.
That's right. No fool.
Well, thank you very much, y'all. And as always, check us out next Monday. I think I've got a guest. I don't have a freaking clue who it is. Awesome promo. Which means it's either me doing readings or I actually have somebody. I just can't remember. Um,
You never
and,
know.
and Eric and his wife are going, oh, Arwen. But you never know. And seek joy, y'all. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Never Know with Arwen, where you get chats with psychics, healers, authors, and naughty, naughty, naughty book reviewers. That's who we're going to be talking with tonight. But before we start, I want to do this week's Terrascopes. Aquarius, you get the Hag of Earth. Watch over your own world. Be present in your own home. Take care of your own cares. Rule your immediate self first. Pisces, destruction. May have to tear down some preconceived notions about self. Deconstruct what is to rebuild what should be. Work hard. That last sentence didn't make any sense, Arwen. I'm so glad I actually read these things before I put them up. Aries, 5 of air. So many ideas, so many people wanting bits of you. Time to tie your hair back, choose what you want to do, then do that. Taurus, you get the 10 of water. Consider all those emotionally attached to you and you to them. How can you foster deeper connections? This is a good time for that. Gemini, you get the ace of air. By focusing on what you will have, you can have it. No time to be indecisive. Intentions set now must be followed through. Cancer, you get the witch of water. Past, present, future, all connected by heart. Reach back to resolve. Look forward to hope. Nurture your own first. Leo, strength. Yes, you can.
Book that I had ever reviewed. I'd been, obviously reading print at that time. Ebooks. I mean, I think they were around, but they were not as prevalent as they are today. I mean, you can get them we can read them on your phone now. You can get them anywhere today. And back then, it wasn't. It just was, to me, as a print book reader, I had never really even come across it. So yeah, it was the very first ebook. Yeah. You have a much better memory than I did. Either that or you looked it up on the site.
Bingo. Just went back and read it. Well, then I want to tell you, in case you don't know, you may know this already, but book 4 is in edit.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so yay. And we'll talk about that later, because Rachel's site, one of the other things she offers her authors is advertisement. You can pay cheap, y'all. If you're an author and you're not advertising on Bitten by Books, gotta ask you what you're thinking. She gets heavy traffic, and your little book gets seen and seen and seen and seen. So, and I know we've had sales from our reviews there, because we've had people tell us that's where they found our book. So we will always want to be reviewed by Bitten by Books. But because Kay and I, Mary Lou Mann, we write some contemporaries, we were a little sad because Bitten by Books was kind of genreist.
Genreist?
Just saying.
I hadn't heard that term before. Wow, I learned something new. First ebook, first new word. Yeah, it's true. We were.
But I hear tell that you're branching out.
It's true. The rumors are true. We have started reviewing and accepting reviews for multiple genres, romance, what else? Mystery, thriller, action, sci-fi, horror, kids books, middle grade kids
Oh,
books, even
wow.
some picture books. I've got a picture book lined up, fantastic picture book lined up in May. Young adult, more young adult, not just paranormal, but in all, because paranormal encompasses all of that. But
Yeah.
we're trying to branch out. We are branching out. We have, and it's going good. I mean, we're kind of slowly ramping up and kind of building a solid foundation. Instead of trying to take on 8 million of every different kind of book or review, we're definitely ramping up. So yeah, but it's really, really an exciting time for the blog, and it's fun to be doing other things. I know the reviewers are thrilled to be reviewing other stuff besides paranormal. I mean, they love paranormal, but I think that they, after 6 years, some of them are like, can I get a romance?
And my favorite books to read are historicals.
Right.
So I'm typing your URL in the chat room right now, and I keep forgetting.
I got it.
Oh, thank you.
But how you started this out by yourself, right? I mean, there was just you.
Right.
How many reviewers do you have now? I mean, I know you've got, because I read them and I see different names going on there. So how many people do you have now?
We have about 30, and I have a couple in the wings that kind of do stuff for us as guest bloggers occasionally. So we have had upwards of 50 at one time. But right now we're at about 30 reviewers, and they don't all review full time. Everyone does this as a volunteer, which is fabulous. They're wonderful, and they take on as many books as they can at that time. So yeah, so we've got about 30.
What do you think makes a good book reviewer? Besides the ability to read fast.
Well, I think personally, a good grasp of the English language, written English language, somebody who pays attention to detail, somebody who's passionate not just about books and reading, but about authors too. I think that is a kind of a special thing that we have, that our reviewers really care about authors and supporting authors and their work, and being able to provide feedback in a way that's helpful, not demeaning, or what's the word I'm looking for? Without being rude, people who have a heart, people who really have a heart for what they're doing and really enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, because bitchy mean girl reviews are not fun to read. I mean, sometimes they are. I'll be honest. Sometimes, I laugh because if it's a book I didn't like either, I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
But it's still mean girl mentality, and I've never remind them that your mind is a fearsome thing when set. Choose to support those who support you. Will makes it happen. Virgo, the 7 of air. Sometimes you must take what you can. Solve problems with your mind rather than brute force. Puzzles abound. Solve them. Libra, 4 of earth. Money can be a riddle. Riches to be attained, but make lists first. Know the answers before they ask the questions. Scorpio, you get the magician. As you will, so it happens. Putting your tools to work creates a surprisingly prosperous week. Open to what you can do. Sagittarius, you get the Hierophant. Rules exist to be followed as long as they make sense. If you must bend them, do so cautiously. Many watch this week. Capricorn, 10 of air. The whip you use on yourself is harsh. Be gentle with you, please. Stop making yourself the enemy if you want to win. Now, everyone, I'd like to invite to the show, or welcome to the show. She's already here. I guess I can't invite her. Rachel Smith. Rachel and I have known each other via the internet for years. And I have to say that I was part of a writing team that popped one of her cherries. Oh, yes, we did. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Rachel has a wonderful review site called bittenbybooks.com. This site has supported authors in so many ways. She has contests. She does book reviews. interviews with authors. Sorry about the dog licking the bowl in the background. I know that's a lovely sound. Awesome. But Rachel, welcome to my show. Thank you so much for being one of my guests. How's it going?
Things are great. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. It's an honor to be on here and be with you and see your beautiful smiling face and hear your tarot scopes. They're awesome. I love reading them each week, so thank you so much.
Thank you. And what's your sign, baby?
I am on the cusp of Cancer and Leo, so I'd probably do a Leo thing and take both of them.
Rock on. Now, Rachel, why a book review site? I mean, what was your goal when you started? How long has Bitten by Books been here? And, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I ask myself that every day about 5 a.m. when I'm still awake. What was I thinking? Bitten by Books started in 2008, so we've been around. It'll be 6 years in May. We'll be celebrating our 6-year blogiversary. It started as just a way for me to get out my feelings about different books that I was reading, and then I learned that you could get free books by reviewing. But what I didn't realize was that there was they weren't really free because you had lots and lots of commitments. And so I started out reviewing for another site initially, and it's a great site, but they had deadlines, and I'm not a very good deadline girl. So I quickly got out of that, and I thought, why don't I just do this on my own? I can do it all by myself. And it was supposed to be a hobby. Well, my husband says I'm not allowed to have any more hobbies because every hobby that I have had turns into a business, so or something of great magnitude. And that happened really, really quickly when people found out that I was reviewing just paranormal fiction, because that's all I was really into at the time. So that's how it started.
Well, 2008, that's a funny year for me, because that's the year our very first book came out as Mary Lou Mann.
That's right.
And what is it about that changing times that happened to you, young lady?
Well, it changed my perspective on anything. You just never know with Arwen. It was really kind of my first toe dip into erotic kind of paranormal romance. I'd read some Carrie Arthur books, which are fabulous. That's what kind of got me started, and then I got a really good taste of what a genre that I didn't know existed. I mean, to be very honest, I was like, whoa, and it was so good. I mean, fantastic book, fantastic series. I love it. I still love it to this day, and it really will. You did pop my paranormal cherry. Thank you so much.
And I think you said we were one of the first ebooks you reviewed.
Right, you were. That was the very first ebook.